Evening, Benny.
Hello.
Good evening. How are you?
G'day, mate.
Do you want to, Luke? Do you want to start with the product side?
Yeah, I do. So there's some cool stuff I'll show you in a minute. I'll cast my screen and I'll do a little bit of a demo. We had a couple of things that were sort of sitting in the background this month that we're sort of holding off to get some bug fixes in, and then sort of all dropped in one hit. So we got a few really cool features today, which is excellent. So yeah, I'll give everyone a demo of that. We're going to try and fast track this build and get it out because for a few reasons, but C11 setup being one of them. And obviously the arcade, we had some fixes to do in there. So, and we've got, from what we've seen so far, it's pretty fresh, but it's looking like we've got better stability as well. So yeah, it all sort of came together really quickly, which is good. So yeah, I'll run through that in a minute. COGs Quest is still a work in progress. Getting the RFOX ID integration in there. The new one, and also the other changes around adding characters, etc. So that's still a work in progress. We'll give you an update next week on that. And the portal's coming along really well. I don't know if is Red Pill here. The portal's coming along really well, and I suspect we'll be able to get it out in the next few days anyway. But yeah, we can run through that next week as well if people want to see it. But I'm sure it'll be up by then. All right, I'm just going to get my screen ready. Okay. Let's see if this
Sounds like you did a.
is better.
Yep.
All right. So obviously the District 4 template, but we've built this DJ area at the back. Can everyone see that?
I actually had to be careful early on because one of these lasers caught me in the eye.
Check this out. Look at the detail on this board.
Oh, very exciting DJ. It's not even interacting with the crowd.
Very cool. There's some laser down here. Right? Who's that? Do you want to go and do go-go dancing up on the stand up here? Those little go-go dancing platforms. I'm sure it's not, you're not getting the same effect, streaming it like this, but the disco ball's very awesome. The lasers are very cool. It's a really cool spot. All right, just yell out if the feed goes funny because I can't see it because I'm in my headset, but I assume everyone's still seeing what I'm saying.
It's just like the real thing. I don't actually have to do anything. I just pretend and music comes out.
All right, so can everyone still see my feed? I'm walking towards the apartments.
Yep, we see you walk into the Sky apartment.
I'm being very needy tonight, but
you should show the beers in the arcade.
Can do, yeah. Do that in a sec.
Calm down, Phil.
Other people haven't seen that actually.
Don't want the whole crowd to have heart attacks.
We've only got an hour, Phil. We've only got an hour. He's going to choose where he goes.
I'll show you guys the best use case for the beer bottles.
Oh no!
All right. So,
How do you know it's dodged?
so can everyone see this?
Yes, theme like your purple
Okay,
pants.
These are the stuff I've changed, right? So, I've got my floor to match my pants. And yeah, the yellow is really to highlight the yellow in my eyes. I'm jaundiced. Not really.
Luke, that's a, you know what that apartment is, Luke? That's a say you're fucked at using AI without saying you're fucked at using AI.
Yeah, it's a demo environment. Let's call it that.
It looks like an underground Mario level.
So all the screens are gone. which I hated. So that view is unobscured now. The panel's not on the wall anymore. So you go, well, how do you do the AI stuff? Check this shit out.
They probably saw the bricks, mate. They probably saw the bricks.
Look at this shit. So pop the menu up and I go AI. And then I go room texture changer and I do it on my wristwatch. White bricks.
I have an obsession with bricks, I'm noticing.
It's replacing bricks with bricks to give you the full effect. Oh, that looked better anyway. Look at that.
Wasn't there a saying that he was saying in Happy Hour that had something with bricks in it also?
See that? Boom.
Wow.
So this is contextual. You watch it, and it gets better. Check this out. It gets better. So the first question that might come to mind is, how do you know what that AI is controlling, and how does that menu basically know what it's controlling? Because if you're bringing up a menu on your wrist and you're telling it to change the texture, it's obviously contextual to the area you're in. So if you're in the apartment, it knows you're changing the walls in the apartment. If you're somewhere else, then it won't actually give you that option unless there are walls you can change. So if I do it out here, all I've got is chatbot. So then I can go and ask a question of it. Why is the sky blue?
I'm actually interested to know the answer to that.
Because of a phenomenon called Rayleigh scattering. As sunlight enters Earth's atmosphere, it collides with gas molecules and scatters in all directions.
Yep, you get the idea.
But only you can hear that, right?
Only I can hear that, yes.
Yeah.
So that's the beginnings of a personal assistant. And there's a lot of plugins and things being added to OpenAI now, so we can potentially plug other things into it and have contextual speech depending on where you are and what you're doing at the time. So we've got these new reset buttons in the arcade now, so you have to hold down the button. That will shift the cups, but I didn't hold it in long enough. And here's my assistant, my lovely assistant. So these bottles are RFOX branded, these beer bottles.
You look like you need a little bit more.
Sorry, mate?
You look like you need a bit more.
Oh, thank you. That one was actually delicious. Other than that, yeah, I think we got pretty much the same setup in here. We just fixed the few problems that we had in earlier builds with some stuttering and just general performance. So it's running a lot smoother now. I think they were the main features. Have I missed anything, Micah?
The volume slider is a lot easier to get to now on this thing.
Yeah, it's a bit nicer. There's a lot of little things like that. Like he was saying, the volume slider. But yeah, there's a lot of little things that I guess been added in there. I just wanted to show those few major things because I think they're big improvements, especially that DJ area, because we're going to be able to use that for all sorts of things. Just repurpose it. Okay, that's it. Unless you want me to go into C11, I might as well just do that, I guess, before we jump out. There's some really cool NFTs in here. I think this is looking amazing.
You're going to show them the AI contextual model.
Yep. Oh yeah, it's the same deal in here, yeah. So we go AI in here. Then I'll have the same thing, image generator, room texture changer, etc. White marble. I didn't do brick that time.
It's probably just going to bring up white marble bricks because it knows you.
Yeah.
Go over and have a gander so we can see it. Oh, there you go.
Not bad, huh? Actually looks good.
Jeez.
That marble.
That RFOX symbol in the spinning symbol looks pretty good.
Yeah. That's really cool.
Just thought I'd do it in a ponytail. I got
Yeah,
distracted.
I had to quickly cut it down. It's about to be PG.
Always PG.
Maybe even AO for adults only. Okay. That's my little show and share today. Hope everyone enjoyed that.
Thanks, mate. That was awesome. Went a bit long though because Adelaide's here. Talk to a bride after a wedding day, they'll tell you every little minute detail that went wrong, and the cake was wrong, and the decorators were late, and the flower arrangements were wrong. But the thing is that when you're actually going in there and experiencing it, you just come away and say, "Great wedding, great cake, cool stuff happened." So the thing is that you're always very nervous that when you roll something out, that it's going to perform the way you want it to, or the way it's supposed to in testing and all the rest of it. But these types of improvements this rapidly as well are fantastic, considering, Luke, I guess a lot of people don't know that we're doing a lot of tinkering under the hood to make sure that, as we've said, it's not a very sexy build period because it's delivering promises and also stabilizing things. So to still be able to push out new customizations and features while you're doing that is really awesome.
Yeah, I'll just quickly cover that as well. Now you mentioned it. We talked about a little while ago about how we upgraded one of the servers that we're using. That was sort of going to be a midterm solution, but we're finding that when we're getting a good group, like 40, 50 people in a small space, that's still struggling. So we're doing a much bigger upgrade, which will future-proof us for a long time to come. But obviously, as Ben said, that's disruptive to what we're doing on the back end. So we've kind of having to work around that planning and that execution in the very short term. We're going to have to work around that quite a lot. So, as Ben said, considering that's all going on and there's a lot of work involved in preparing for that, we've still managed to get through a fair bit of stuff and get that build a lot more stable. So, I think it's a great outcome.
So, Luke, is this released in the public build already? This is referring to the DJ area. We should have Friday pay beers in there.
Yep. So it will be this week sometime. We're doing some testing at the moment. As soon as we're happy that it's all okay, then we'll push it, and we'll push it out to everybody this time because we've got some changes on the back end, API changes that will be tied to this build. So that's kind of why we just want to double check this, because we'll just push it all the way through, give everybody the same build.
Also this week the portal will go live, the new portal. Once the new build is live, that's connected to that. So, yeah, that's really good news.
I did briefly mention the portal before you came on, Joe, but if you want to add anything, go for it.
No, just basically we were struggling a little bit with a couple of bugs that we had integrating the latest build, and that's why it was delayed. But today we had a really good testing session, and we found the issue and we fixed it. So we're basically ready to go. We just got to check the mobile builds right now, and then we push it out, and district owners will get the new portal with new district management and token gating and features like that, and collaboration features.
I checked Android already, Joe, and that's really solid. So that's 2 out of 3. It's good to do iOS now.
Are there other metaverses that can do this? Not that I know of. Anybody else, Red Pill or Luke or anyone else know of any other metaverse that can do that?
The AI changes?
Yeah.
There's talk, but not a voice that I've seen. People have mentioned that it's been or is being integrated, but not voice. I haven't heard anything about people doing it with voice.
Yeah, no, On Cyber has some feature they brought out, I think, like 2 months after us with something similar. I'm not sure if it's voice. I guess you type it.
I think it was text-based, that one, Jay.
Yeah. But yeah, in general, the feature is not like super complex. So I think we'll probably see a couple more metaverses implementing that soon. But we didn't see much.
I think the trick though is to expand it beyond that, to not just have a normal, Chat GPT response coming back, but being able to, as I said before, add plugins in and expand it out and grow and evolve that into something that's much more useful, because it's there's still limitations on what you can ask them, and especially in that type of environment. So I think we get to the point where we can bring in other aspects of the Vault, things like turning lights on and off in apartments, or changing the way your lights look and changing colors and things like that, and having some more of that automation type stuff built into it would be really cool.
Actually, I got asked a question the other day. Someone said, "Why did you choose to do voice when other people are doing text?" And I didn't have an immediate answer outside of the fact of saying, like from a text perspective, with a headset and walking around in a visual environment, the last thing you want to be doing is typing out stuff where you don't have to. I think that if you're sitting at a PC or something like that and you've got a keyboard in front of you and it's a PC-based experience, then I think it probably makes makes sense for people typing stuff in. But with a headset, that's the last thing you want to be doing is taking off the headset or using something clunky with tons of words on it. Yes, but I purchased the apartment with the screens you removed included. Where are my screens? Are you talking about that? Yeah, it's so much better on the watch. It really is. It's awesome how much that's progressing as well. Even from the first iteration of what that little watch navigation board did compared to what it does now is light years better. If you drink enough beer, maybe the robot turns into your actual avatar. You never know. Did this one adopt the name? That was the Fireside Foxbot or Triple FFF. We should have a community naming contest for it for sure. And then we should make it go out and say, "I don't like that name." Call me Will. Triple F is better than Triple F. Yes. I think you've got some questions as well, Lala.
We have one from J. Charles earlier, and it says, "Benny, could you please provide your opinion on what is happening in the background of the meme coins? Founders rugging, people posting your ETH address, liquidity, etc."
We see this at the beginning of bull markets and also the end of bull markets. I got asked that question several times today, like, why do people put money into those, send money to an ETH address? Why are they doing that? I think in the beginning, people, they probably put money in themselves to try and make it look like people are putting money in. But I think that having been through a few cycles, the general sentiment from some of the people would be, "I'm so down on whatever I've invested on anyway. I may as well just have a moonshot and see what happens, and maybe some sort of return comes back." So it's a cross between greed and ultimate fear. But as far as the meme coins are concerned, there's also, I'll open this up to the floor. It was good last week how we let the team answer a lot of questions, and also you guys have your say. But if you've been through multiple cycles, you also get to a point in each cycle where you think to yourself, am I well enough situated, or am I positioned well enough for when it does take off? Because as we all know, when the market does turn and take off and we head into a bull, it happens really quickly. Now, it doesn't matter if that bear market's been 18 months or 2 years before. People will say, "Oh, damn it, I was just about to buy. I just saved up and I was about to buy, and now it's gone," even though they've had tons of time. So there's a real fear when you go through those down cycles that you don't have as much of everything as you should have, because when the market turns, you'll get caught. It's like the music stopping and you don't have a chair to sit in. So people are prepared to throw money into something that they think could be a 50x or 100x in really quick time, while they're waiting, while it's boring, while the markets are fairly stagnant and moving sideways, because that could get them a bit more of the token that they love. And ultimately what they end up doing is just ending up with a lesser valuable bag to be able to invest. Anyone want to contribute or add their views and thoughts to that question?
No, I think you covered it. Nothing to add from my end.
Anyone else? Red Pill, Lala, Phil, Gecko, is Pineapple here?
Pineapple in the Bahamas, I believe. Flipping on
Oh, there you
pineapples.
go.
All good.
I don't have anything further to add.
Okay. COGs GG down, log in but can't access anything.
Yep, I think the website currently is in a transition at this point. If anyone's having any issues, please do let me know, because we are definitely looking into that process for everybody. We do notice that it has a little bit of glitch here and there, but it's being worked on.
Yeah, also, just make sure you're going to app.cogs.gg and not just cogs.gg.
I know the C11 DAO has used their districts to display NFTs to showcase the Vault districts to potential partners, and last I heard, had to go through the RFOX team to update the districts. Has C11 been given full access to their district yet? Any updates that you want to give in relation to how customization side of things is going, Red Pill or Micah? Luke, anyone want to answer that one?
Yeah, that's still really with the portal. So basically, they will get full access. So far, we still updated the things manually because we had a bug that was causing us to not release the newest build. But once we have the new build out this week, we'll take the portal online, and then they will have full access to manage it themselves.
Thanks, mate. Is the main market focus still? Oh, sorry, go Luke.
I was going to say, this is a pathway to renting spaces and all that sort of stuff as well. So this is like the first foot in the water on that. So I think this will be a really good test.
Yeah, just to expand on what Luke said, so you guys understand, is the part of the portal upgrades, or one of the features that we have there, is full collaboration, which means I can nominate any wallet I want to have access to changing the assets in my shop. Obviously, that's all they can access is the API. They don't get access to my assets or anything like that. So they can then manage and list whatever wallets, NFTs, or images they want, and they can change stuff in the shop without me then having to send my shop out. So if you want to rent out your space, you can essentially grant someone access for a period. So it's a simple feature, but it opens a lot of doors.
2GVR asked, is the main market focus still Southeast Asia? If not, what is? So ultimately, obviously, the types of sectors that we've dabbled in to date have had a lot of the users and a lot of growth rate in the Southeast Asian region. And if you look at distribution of headsets as well, headsets in China's out on a limb. And there's a massive amount of potential in Southeast Asia still, but ultimately we will be going where the VR market and also where the users are. Obviously, we're catering to a type of user, but Southeast Asia has still got huge potential for us for sure. Voice-driven AI is way better than typing. Will there be AI voice options, e.g. ElevenLabs? Who wants to pick up that one?
We have added to our feature backlog already the ability for people to change the voice of their AI, things like that. That's part of what ElevenLabs does, among other things. That's just one of the features they do. So it's there. It's not a high priority at the moment because we'd rather get critical features in about making things possible. But we have got it. It's been captured.
Apple seem to be big into VR. According to Paul Barron's video here, And last week I heard if RFOX was going to make the Vault compatible with Apple's VR headset, and I heard no. Is that still the case of not making Vault compatible with Apple XR? Stay tuned till next week for an answer in relation to that. There you go. Urban's answer wasn't no. It was we can't say until we actually see their headset and what their process is. Their process is a ball ache. That part of it's true. They have held back on a lot of the details, but ultimately, you'd assume that they're going to go a particular type of path, but there are things opening up to us which we'll advise you on shortly. Voltox is quick. Yeah, go.
Atesh's saying that Pete said no. Like, when did you just stop listening to Pete or start listening to Pete? Because you should have stopped.
Always a joke.
You are listening to him. He said no to everything. Everything that's asked of Pete, it's no. So maybe you should stop listening to Pete.
Especially because Luke always tells him no when he asks when Vault on Pico. So he just defaults
He just
to
says
no.
no to everything.
Yep.
There's no technical reason why we couldn't, because they're talking about Unity integrations and stuff. So yeah, I mean, it's definitely not a no.
Hey Benny, any project collaboration partnership jobs going at RFOX? Asking for a friend, mate. I think C11 DAO, you're going to have your hands full. That's got potential. I mean, obviously, good projects on board. You're headed in the right direction. Things are going the right way. I think there's a potential for that to be a full-time thing, and do very well. Coingecko keeps shilling Metaverses without mentioning RFOX. Can someone ask Benny on Wednesday to update the community regarding Coingecko and other marquees? It is strange to have the Vault in open beta without these things being clear and public, in my opinion. So the first time we spoke to Coingecko, when I think it's 5 times that it's happened in some form, the first time we spoke to them, they advised us that there was... can you still hear me?
Yep, you can still hear you.
I've got this really weird message in the main chat saying something went wrong. Relevant JSON truncated. That's super weird. I've actually lost the chat. I cannot see the chat anymore. Very odd. So yeah, the first time
again.
The first time that it happened, we were told that there was a Metaverse report that came out, for those of you who are around and can remember, and they said that they'd already commissioned that because they worked with third parties to produce their content. So as we established today in an earlier call, some of that content is paid by third parties wanting to advertise on the platform, and some of it is curated by third parties as well to try and get traffic and attention and all the rest of it. So it's something that we've addressed. It's something that we've told would be arrested, and it's popped up again. So I will continue to chase up as to why that's happening. But the one thing that people don't know is that a lot of projects do their core business and they outsource the rest of it, or get other people to do that on their behalf. So you will get that disjointedness, but I will keep pushing to try and find out why that does keep happening and why we can't get more of a mention. I can completely understand the frustration, and I've actually tweeted that myself. So I think I was fairly clear in saying the same thing, going out and saying, what the hell, guys? Phil or Lala, do you want to give some updates really quickly? I'm going to quickly just jump straight back out and in again so I can see the chat.
Sure. I guess I can go first. So we have a gathering tomorrow on Thursday for those VR users who want to go for a round of beer pong and get ready for the June tournaments. It's just a simple hangout that we're going to be doing every week on Thursday, same time as our EMA. Apart from that, there are some teasers going on the KOGs Twitter and Facebook pages. Make sure to keep a lookout for it. there's definitely something happening. So keep your eyes peeled, and more details will be shared in due time. But yeah, that's pretty much it from my side. Over to you, Phil.
So, as Luke mentioned, we'll give you more information about Quest next week. Right now, we're working on integrating the new RFOX ID, and hopefully that progresses a bit more so we can talk about it next week.
Okay. Sorry?
Anything C11 would like to add on?
Yeah,
I see. I see Jay in the chat, so I'm going to throw him into the into the conversation.
Yeah, it was another big week of sort of chatting to potential partners and sort of projects. So not a lot happening on the surface because we're continuing sort of conversations from last week. So these things take time, and some things to wait on, and some new partners, and some are continuing. So yeah, a lot happening still. We're inching closer to locking in all of those 11 projects before we launch, and then it's all systems go. So yeah, a lot of positive meetings this week, and continuing some tonight, and towards the weekend. So yeah, we've got an event coming up on Saturday, which will give some more information about when things are locked in. But yeah, all positive, and all things going well. So yeah, that's about it from us. Yep.
When Binance?
When we have a token. We don't have a token yet.
When token?
Very soon. Very soon.
Yeah, it shouldn't be too far off though.
No, it's all good.
That seems like the correct order.
Yeah, we don't have a launch date yet because I want to make sure everything's locked in, ticked off, and sort of everyone's ready to go, so we can form a proper DAO, get some proposals, and start getting people into the vault. Yep, that's
It'll be worth the wait.
Absolutely. All right, cheers, guys.
Thanks, guys. I've got a couple of questions as well. Lala, did you have any others? I thought I saw a couple of.
I only had one from J. Charles today. Just double checking.
Okay. Okay, so these are the ones that have come up from during the week and from walkthroughs and stuff. One of them was I'll mention it doesn't matter, Luke, if you want to answer it. Red Pill Mike, it doesn't matter. It's just to open the slather for these questions. The first one is, when will we see jumping and other mechanics in the vault?
I think Micah wrote that question.
Probably was.
Was it you, Micah? Or it could have been
It's on our feature backlog. It's probably our highest requested feature at the moment. So it's once we're done with all these important things, that's probably going to be picked up first.
And the order is important as well, because we're going to have to do some rigging and whatnot on these new citizens. So we'll be doing rework if we do it now anyway. So yeah, that's part of the reason as well, just to do things in the right order.
It's also it might sound like a simple thing of, oh, just make avatars jump, push a button and you can jump. That is simple. That's not the hard part. The problem comes in with the environments. The environments need to be designed a certain way with collision meshes so that when people run around and they start jumping around everything, they don't jump through, off, and under the map, left, right, and center. So there's a whole environment update that has to happen to make that possible as well. So it's got a few. It's a bigger task than what is led on to believe for the public eye, obviously.
Yeah, that's good. I've got a two-part to this question. This question is really good. Do you think we will see in the foreseeable future the ability to integrate AI into avatars? So I guess that's a pretty open and broad question, and it says the second part is so first part is AI into avatars, and the second part is there a step between what we're currently seeing now with customization of apartments and AI asset creation? What other things could AI bring to the vault?
Okay. So I think AI can do a whole bunch of things, but asset creation is one of the probably the best use cases that I can think of, where you could either take an existing item and manipulate it, or create an entire new lounge suite, for example, on the fly. I think that's pretty exciting. But also just creating other objects as well, not necessarily even furniture, but creating other objects with your voice and building environments with your voice. I think that will happen for sure. And if the first question was about NPCs, I think AI NPCs will be a thing almost 100%. I mean, it's already happening. So as far as when we introduce that kind of stuff goes, we're obviously very keen to use AI where we can. As we said before, we want to use it, but just has to make sense. But I think there's a lot of use cases where it does make sense.
Yep.
Anyone?
Yeah, sure. So with generative AI right now for NPCs, for example, there's a couple of issues. Like, for example, you have that delay in response time. Sometimes, just with the demo of Luke, for example, when you use OpenAI, ChatGPT, you wait a couple of seconds. So sometimes when you have a conversation with the NPC, you gotta wait a little bit. So those things are just some things that need to be kind of ironed out, or you have some fast APIs that maybe don't have like the best responses. They don't have GPT-4 level quality, but a bit lower, but they're much faster. So with NPCs, that's an obvious one. We're looking into that. Probably it's actually in the backlog. So to get an MVP out for those NPCs. And then in general, AI as the creator is also a big thing. Like, not just us using tools to actually create things, but actually giving AI some form of autonomy to create certain things. Like, you can get 2 or 3 AIs in your district and give them a task, and they could potentially work that out themselves, as long as they have a basic understanding of what the functions are that are in there, and they know what the APIs they can work with, and so on. So that's going to be really interesting. On a kind of coding level, it's also going to be very helpful. Like, for example, when we have the SDK that is more optimized with visual scripting and more coding capability, you will have in Unity some AI that will help you create those scripts and create those gaming mechanics. So someone that doesn't actually have that much experience in coding can then create games or quests, all kinds of things. So yeah, I think those are some of the use cases, but I'm sure we'll still get surprised with what our use cases are. It's I think, extremely exciting.
Thanks, mate. And then I know we've got one question in the chat. Just before I get to that one, I've got one more, which is, I don't know if we can actually answer this because I don't know how we'd know, but I'll throw that over to you guys. But how will Quest 3 specifications line up against something like the impending Apple AR VR headset? This must be Pete, because when you hear the last part of the question, you know exactly. So first part, I'll throw that out to you guys, because I don't know. We know bugger all about the AR VR headset of Apple as far as the specifications are concerned, other than what's been leaked or insinuated. So I don't know how you do a like-for-like comparison, but if one of you guys wants to have a shot at that.
Well, the Oculus, the Quest 3, the Meta Quest 3 is, we've got a pretty good idea of the specs already on that. And it's an incremental upgrade. They're saying like CPU speed, so CPU performance speed is like double what we're getting now, because it's an XR2 chip. Like, it's a much newer chip, and it's got double the RAM. So that's all great, but what does that actually mean? In the real world, GPU is obviously a massive thing. They haven't talked too much about the GPU yet, but that's way more important than CPU and RAM in what we're doing. So who knows? How that actually translates in the real world is hard to say. But I think with the Apple device doing XR stuff, so AR and VR, and being dual purpose, and knowing Apple, they'll over-engineer it anyway. I think the Apple device, I would guess that it's going to be a more powerful, more capable device, but time will tell. But like I said, I think they're going to have that thing running some pretty decent hardware to do both the AR and VR.
The current speculation on the Apple headset is that it's going to have an M2 chip in it, which is very possible given they're already slapping those in iPads and things like that. They don't.
Well, they're
need a lot
putting
of
those
cooling.
in MacBook Airs, so you can argue that if that's the case, they're going to have an actual PC grade CPU in this thing.
Exactly.
Which, is crazy.
That's wild. From a performance perspective, that'll blow Oculus out of the water.
But if you've seen like interviews with Lucky Palmer, who has apparently tested both, he said like from a consumer perspective, they're pretty comparable. Like
yeah, I did read that article, but I think it depends a lot, obviously, on the content and everything, and what resolution he's running his stuff at. But yeah, it's one of those things. You just have to see it. You just have to get it and try it. And knowing Apple, they have a very different approach as well.
It's all kind of speculation until it's not.
Yeah, Phil's right. Just reading that article, it doesn't sound like they're miles apart in the real world. But I think the AR, VR, the XR combo side of things will be, if they've gotten that right, it would be amazing.
And the last part to that question is 2 words, and it says, when trains. When trains. I presume they're talking about the trains between the that sounds like a peak question. When trains.
You've got a few hurdles to get over first, but they're coming.
I missed the beginning, so ignore if asked. Roadmap second quarter on schedule.
I'm going to say for a lot of it, yes. The only question I would have at the moment is around the stuff we don't know, which is just integrating the citizens and the apartments. We've obviously got a good plan for that. And as Mike said, a lot of that work's been done, especially on the citizen side. But there's a little bit of an unknown there that we just have to take that ride. But yeah, I'm hoping that if that'll go smoothly, then we should be good to go. But like I said, we won't know until we try. That's the only unknown. I think everything else we're pretty comfortable with.
The other one, there was one other question, but I wasn't going to share it because it was more of a question that, but I think it's a good question to actually throw out to the group, to the team, so that you can hear the team answer it in a public forum. But the statement basically goes along the lines of the team seem to be smashing stuff out at a much higher quality level and also at a better speed now. Do you think that that's just a reflection on how far into the journey that you are, or do you think that you're just getting a lot better at the way that you're putting things together? I've given an answer to that in writing, but I'd be very interested to hear if any of what your thoughts and opinions are. Team perspective. Red Pill, what about you? You've been here since day one. What do you think?
Yeah, I think it's just that our, experience and skill level of the team, like the experience that we have across different team members, just aligns more and more, and it has aligned more and more to that we know exactly how to solve problems. Like before, it was often like, we had like 3 great people that knew how to create stuff with an artist, but then we had one tech guy, but we were one person missing or something that we really needed to get something done in a really fast and good way. And right now we have a team that really covers all the bases. Like we have, in all areas, we have someone that is an expert basically. And that's, I think, a huge step, because before we were just like not at that level. And obviously, like, I think after Luke came in with all those processes that were integrated, you know, with PI plannings and, you know, like proper implementation of Scrum and all those things, that obviously helps a lot as well. I didn't even know what Scrum means, like 1.5 years into RFOX, I think. I never heard that word before at that point. And then, you know, we started implementing all those things, and I think that made a big change. Yeah. I don't know if you want to say something, Luke, or...
Yeah, I agree with what you just said. I think it's been a lot of those things. I think definitely process helps. I think having the right people running it helps. But I would say we've still got some work to do on quality generally, and it's something we're constantly tweaking. I think the stuff we're delivering is cool. I think it looks beautiful. I think you know, it's definitely it's what we want, but yeah, we just need to figure out that quality a bit more and make sure that we're catching, you know, bugs earlier, and we're not, you know, working too hard below the surface. We're actually just this shouldn't be hard. This should be something we, you know, that basically we put something on one side and it comes out the other end like a well-oiled machine, and a production line that's consistent, and we're inching towards that. But that's only, I think, when you really get to relax and enjoy the ride. Up until then, it's all hard work and, you know, rolling up the sleeves, and that's all it is really. It's just staying on top of it, not letting anything slide, not taking no for an answer on anything. So I think it's just about being relentless at the end of the day, and I think we've done that. But we are seeing some light at the end of the tunnel as far as getting this, you know, really under control and not having to fight so hard for it, and being able to bring some of the rewards and enjoy it with other people.
Yeah, thank you for that. I think you'd probably be surprised at what I said. What I said also, part of that, so going back to the parts that, you know, most things have been covered there, I think that as silly as it sounds, we had a lot of people who didn't actually understand what they were building, from the sense of you're building something in pieces and you're trying to plug it all together, but you're not 100% sure of what that greater vision looks like, because you're focused on one piece. You've been given tasks, you're building those things, but then once you actually, now that we've progressed and we actually have the Vault, people can now say, oh shit, I understand the piece that I was building, what it does, what purpose it serves. And you've also had, I mean, the rate at which technology's moved just in the time that we've been a project and been building is phenomenal. And we talk about it regularly and more often, and that is, we had to build a lot of stuff that didn't exist. And now there's going to be some really amazing stuff being built that does exist and does enhance what we can potentially do. And as I was saying today in the earlier meetings, is that there's no time to be sentimental and say, wow, we spent so long building a particular piece or a particular tool. If there is a piece or tool that can be plugged in that enhances it by X percentage points and is and makes the user experience much better, then you'll do that. You cannot be sentimental when it comes to technology. You have to go with what the best option is. So, and that's coming from a non-technical person who thinks about it more from the experience side. So, yeah. So I hope we covered everything. Did we miss anything?
There's just one last topic that's been asked a few times and discussed quite a few times, where people are talking about VR for PCs and all those things, where they're saying, will we do VR for PC tethers, like what VR chat does essentially, and stuff like that? Luke, I don't know. I've seen this question a few times in Discord, and I was asked just now.
Yeah.
I think that this space is going to change so much. I mean, I'm not just talking about VR. I'm talking about, you know, XR is really the thing that was talked about a lot when we were at CES last year, and you know, that was still something we hadn't really thought that hard about at that point. And just seeing the energy and money and time that was being put behind that as a platform. You know, and the thought of these manufacturers all copying Apple now if they get this right, because I mean, every man and his dog has had a go at this augmented reality stuff, and you know, none of them have been particularly successful. Apple don't tend to release things unless they're pretty well bedded in and thought through. So that's going to really change things. And if we can start getting headsets that light, and then we can strap bigger batteries to them because the weight is so low anyway, and we can get these almost desktop grade processors as we're talking about here, which is all theoretical. But if that's the case, I don't think it's going to be very long before we get to the point where the PC tethering is not required anymore. But what does that look like? It could be anything at that point in time. I think we just have to be willing to back the horse that's winning on the hardware front at the time, because they're going to have the numbers and the users and the eyes. And we also have to work on something that's affordable and easy for people to use with an easy onboarding. Having said that, I think any console, any platform, any device is open for conversation. We're not ruling anything out. If it makes sense, we'll definitely look at it.
I think it's also important to say that with the tool suite that we're building, so answering a question without answering it, building a tool suite that we're building as well, the question that we've been asked above there is by Face, I believe. Where was it? Did I go past it? Saying something about standalone and all the rest of it. The tools that we would put out will come together in a way that will allow people to create a lot more than just a single piece. So I guess that's about as much as I possibly could or should say. Although most of you would have been able to join those dots a long time ago. Awesome. Anything else that anybody wants to add? No? Okay, then thank you very, very much for joining. We really appreciate it. Hope you enjoyed the walkthrough as well. That's awesome to see those updates come in. And really looking forward to hopefully seeing that launch this week and getting some DJ experiences going as well. Thank you very much, guys. Really appreciate you being here. Looking forward to the release of the Apple headset next week as well, because that's going to put a lot of eyeballs on us. So don't forget, if you see us talking about stuff in socials, or you think that you see stuff that is relative to us, make sure that you get in there and tag, comment, and put us in the fray. That's going to be really important to get eyeballs over this coming week. So have a fantastic week, guys. We'll see you on the beer pong table.
Have a great night, everybody. See you tomorrow.
Thanks,
Yeah,
guys.
everybody. We're just smashing in beer pong on Thursday.
Bye.
See ya.